All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this because right now, Ilhan Omar is trembling in her boots. Like, it's so funny to me that this woman just went on live TV and called Stephen Miller a Nazi. Like, this is what this woman does. She's attacking President Trump again. I just showed y'all a video day before yesterday of her talking about, I'm going to live a lot longer than President Trump because I'm half his age, indicates something is going to happen to President Trump just because of his age, which if she was smart, it don't really matter how old you is. Things can happen towards you at any time in your life. It ain't got nothing to do with age. So I really just don't get this. But when she just went on live TV and called Stephen Miller a Nazi, not only that, she pretty much just said that Somalis could have benefited from the money that they stole from the American people. I'm going to show y'all all of this. And now she's wondering why she's going to get deported. The reason why she's scared, the reason why President Trump is going off on her. And of course, she comes out calling President Trump a racist and stuff like that. It seems like that's the first thing they run to. AOC do it, especially Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett just called a man Hitler again on TV. And then as soon as President Trump responds, they want to make it seem like he's attacking them. So like I said, y'all please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support. And shout out to everybody that watches the entire video. I appreciate all of you that do that. And let me know in the comment section under this video that you did stay to the entire video. You stayed all the way to the end. It really helps me out a lot, and I appreciate everybody that lets me know. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into this. You can see by Gunther Eagleman right here, because I want to show y'all this. Say breaking, Ilhan Omar's household net worth has reportedly exploded by over 46,000% since entering Congress. She went from negative net worth to as much as 30 million in just a few years. How does this even happen? And we find out that happened because she's been frauding her and Tim Walz. And then Tim Walz got confronted by 400 employees in his district, and he told them to shut up and keep quiet. When his own employees told him that it was some fraud going on, and it was by the Somalians, that Tim Walz told them to shut up and keep quiet. And now Tim Walz is under investigation for this. And then we find out that, you know, that the restaurant that pretty much Ilhan Omar was standing in front of, and she was saluting and supporting, acting like they was really, you know, giving out food and stuff like that. The owner of that restaurant, you know, just got arrested. Stole more than $16 million. And it had something to do with Ilhan Omar. And we find out that's the reason why her network exploded. Because she's been stealing from the American people ever since she's been in offices, and find out that she's been sending that money back over to Somalia and to Al-Shabaab. That's what we find out. That's why, like I said, she's in hot water right now. So check this out right here. It's a breaking. Ilhan Omar throws a tantrum because her Somali community is finally facing real scrutiny after stealing over $1 billion in taxpayer cash through massive fraud schemes. Deport all of them, including her. Check this out.
So, there are 80,000 people of Somali descent in your state, but the president has been very focused, not just on them, but on you. In this extraordinary cabinet meeting, he said Somalis, quote, come from hell. They complain and they do nothing but bitch. Take a listen.
These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. We don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
That's what he said. Go back to where you came from and fix it.
That knocking is vehement agreement from his cabinet members there. I just wonder what the reaction is in your district to.
See, the problem is the reason why President Trump was so mad at Somali because he just found out that they done stole up to $8 billion from taxpayers in Minnesota. That's the reason why he's hot. That's the reason why he say Ilhan Omar is garbage and the people around her, because they in on the scheme as well, and Tim Walz. That's the reason why President Trump was going off and say, go back to where you came from. We don't want you here because y'all stealing. You're stealing money from taxpayers and then sending it back to Somalia. That's the reason why he's pissed off. He has every reason to be pissed off. But of course, Ilhan Omar is going to take up for the Somali community. Even though after they just got caught, more than 77 people had already been picked up for the fraud scheme, and there's still more people out there who was in this entire scheme. And like I said, including Tim Walz, who told his own employees, over 400 employees, to shut up and keep quiet for the last 3 years while all of this right here was going, to enrich himself and to enrich Ilhan Omar, the reason why now she's worth over $30 million.
To have that from the highest office in the land.
It's disgusting.
Oh, really?
It's completely disgusting.
No, what's disgusting is Somalis in Minnesota stealing that much money, up to $1 billion from taxpayers. That's what's disgusting.
These are Americans that he is calling
No,
garbage.
it's not. Them Somalians.
And we feel like there is an unhealthy obsession that he has on the Somali community, and an unhealthy and creepy obsession that he has with me. I think it is also really important for us.
I be want to ask y'all that, why she always, it like her and Jasmine Crockett do the same thing. They always say that Donald Trump, you know, it's like he liked me or something. He's just so obsessed with me. But if you go listen to Ilhan Omar, you go listen to Jasmine Crockett, you go listen to AOC, every time they talk, it's about Donald Trump. Go to CNN and pull up a Jasmine Crockett interview or whatever and show me that she ain't talking about Donald Trump. She talk about him every day. Ilhan Omar talk about him every day. And soon as he respond, he obsessed with me. He won't leave me alone. I mean, it's just crazy.
To remember that this kind of hateful rhetoric and this level of dehumanizing can lead to dangerous actions by people who listen to the president.
And 95% of the Somalis in your state are U.S. citizens.
Yes.
Just for clarity.
Oh, my God. So we get on to this one right here. And this is what Benny Johnson posted. Ilhan Omar is on live television labeling Stephen Miller as a Nazi. The dangerous rhetoric never ends. So this is the woman who was just complaining about rhetoric, talking about it can get somebody hurt, but yet the president is the one that almost lost his life twice, and then because of the rhetoric that come from their side. Check it out.
I want to ask you about something else that the architect of the president's immigration policy, Stephen Miller, said. On Thanksgiving Day, he posted, "No magic transformation occurs when failed states cross borders. At scale, migrants and their descendants recreate the conditions and terrors of their broken homelands." What do you make of this argument of failure to assimilate and sort of ruining America? How do you understand this?
I mean, when I think about Stephen Miller and his white supremacist rhetoric, it reminds
His white supremacist rhetoric. She's already starting off talking about his white supremacist rhetoric. And don't forget, this is the same woman who said that the country should be more fearful of white men because they lead to the most death that goes on in the country. Don't forget, she said that. And now she's already starting off calling this man a white supremacist.
It reminds me of the way the Nazis described Jewish people in Germany. And, you know, as we know, there have been many immigrants who've tried to come to the United States who've turned back, one of them being Jewish immigrants. We know the way that people were described who were coming from Ireland, Irish immigrants. We know the way in which people were described back then when they were Italian immigrants. And to me, you know, we're yes, of course, ethnically Somali. We are in this country as Americans.
Yeah.
We are citizens. We are productive part of this nation, and we will continue to be.
Congresswoman Omar.
Just absolutely, this is just absolutely pathetic, man. Absolutely pathetic. Now, here go another part right here where she was on the show. And by Sarah Rose, she said, Ilhan Omar pretty much speaks on the Somali fraud. And pretty much she say, we, which is the Somalians, we could have benefited from the money that was stolen.
Of the 87 people charged, all but 8 are of Somali descent. And that has added to the spotlight being put specifically on your community. Why do you think this fraud was allowed to get so widespread?
Well, I want to say, this also has an impact on Somalis because we are also taxpayers in Minnesota. We also...
Oh, y'all also... So it's so funny when she say we are also taxpayer, but then you find out that they've been stealing money for the last 3 years. This whole fraud scheme. And now she didn't enriched herself up to exploded her net worth to over $30 million. Oh, boy, I tell you the truth, man. This woman just don't tell the truth at all.
On Somalis, because we are also taxpayers in Minnesota. We also could have benefited from the program and the money that was stolen.
She said we could have benefited from the program and the money that was stolen. Boy, they just tell on themselves, don't they?
Benefited from the program and the money that was stolen. And so it's been really frustrating for people to not acknowledge the fact that we're also, as Minnesotans, as taxpayers, really upset and angry about the fraud that has.
No, y'all angry and y'all upset that y'all got caught. Just be truthful. You are angry and you're upset because you got caught. And the reason why y'all love it in Minnesota is because Tim Walz is the governor. Then you got the mayor. His name is Jacob Frey or something like that. He's also a Democrat. So, and you knew that he was going to let y'all get away with all this fraud because they was enriching themselves as well. That's the reason why she loves it in Minnesota, because she knew she can get away with this as long as they didn't get caught. And now that they got caught, now she want to act like, oh, well, we so upset that this right here happened. No. You're upset because it got caught. That's the reason why. So check this out by Eric Dollar. He said, why Somalis are now panicked, worrying that President Trump is stopping their takeover of America.
My biggest fear in life is that this man may never witness our full takeover. Yes, he may never witness that. He already witnessed our partial takeover, our little success in America. And he is the reason, actually, I know that the community in America is thriving. He is how I know. It's like, he's how we measure our progress. If he doesn't tweet, somebody messed up. I know it. Somebody fucked up the plan. If he tweet, I know. We're doing the right things. Yes, that's how I know. So, he's old and sick, I know. He may not witness our full takeover, but I promise you that
This dude said that President Trump is old and he's sick. And you see the reason why President Trump, pretty much start calling them names. Y'all garbage. You need to go back to your country and stuff like that because of the gangs. They're stealing, stealing all the way up to $8 billion. So, of course, the man has every reason to be pissed off. So now, this is what they've been saying.
Sons will witness. Just like him, we came to exist in this country. See? The land of free men. The land of opportunities. And we're here. Yes. And we're not leaving, actually. Okay. We're not going back. What do you mean?
So it's so funny that they're saying we're not going back, but yet, ICE has already been in Minnesota deporting Somalis, especially illegal Somalis, back to their country already. That already started. So I don't know when he uploaded this, but he might well take this down because that already started about we ain't going back. A lot of them already been gone back.
Go back. You should go back first. You see, if you come first, you go first. See, just like you. Tell me how you own this land. Explain to the world how this land became your land. Tell the world.
Boy, I tell you the truth. So right here by Eric Dollar, he said, Justin Stephen Miller pretty much said the entire Somali refugee program is predicated on a lie. Destroying your own country does not give you the right to become a citizen in ours. No more Somalis. Repair the third world. And that right there is exactly what Stephen Miller had to say about that. And, of course, we heard what Ilhan Omar, pretty much said. So, and we'll check this out. Say another major truth nuke of what this young lady was pretty much saying about Somalis. Let's check out what she said.
How's this? No, I don't like Somalis. I don't want them in my country, and they bring absolutely nothing of value here. And I know people are going to sit there and scream and cry, oh my gosh, the statistics, they're so racist. But at the end of the day, the facts are the facts, and I'm not going to apologize for that. I mean, genuinely, what have they brought of value here? And I'm not saying that they're all bad on an individual level. I understand that people who lack nuance aren't going to be able to comprehend that as a collective they're bad. Individuals, I'm sure that there are some that are fine, just like any other population. But if you look at the violent crime statistics, you would see that it's not stopping when they get to America. Somalia has a terrible problem with violent crime. They come into places like Minnesota, and despite being an extremely disproportionate amount of the population, their violent crime rates are sky high. It's absolutely disgusting, doing some of the worst atrocities like young girls, because over there in their country, they do not value women. They do not see them as an equal, and they are totally okay with things like child marriage. In fact, when there was a law proposed to raise the marriage age to 18 years old, the protests got so bad from the grown men that the courts decided that they were just going to leave it at the age of 9. Is that what you want brought into your country?
Wow.
Is that what you want around your wives, your sisters, your daughters, just other human beings? Is that what you want to bring into this country so that you could feel better about being a white warrior? I'm sorry, that's absolutely disgusting. We know that once they got into this country, were they grateful? Did they work harder to make it better? No. They scammed the welfare system out of millions while Tim Walz just sat back and allowed them to do so. That's absolutely abhorrent. We know that Somalia is one of the most dangerous countries for Christians going, so why would we bring them into a predominantly Christian country where they're going to go around trying to propose their views, force their views down people's throats? Because in Islam, that's something that's seen as permissible to do. We know that they have a huge terrorism problem, so why would we invite that into our country? Just because a country is poor and struggling does not automatically mean that it's America's problem. I'm sorry, but they're poor and they're struggling because of who they are as people. So many other countries have been dealt a bad hand and they've been able to figure it out. Countries such as Somalia aren't able to because of the people living there. We do not need to import them to make our country worse. Sorry.
Wow. She just absolutely went off. Some of the stuff she said, I didn't even know that. About like the marriage, then it was the courts moved to 18, then they say, forget it, because the men over there start protesting and they took it back down to 9. That is disgusting, bro. Like, that is insane. I absolutely didn't even know that. But let's move on to this right here, because like I said, it just keep getting worse. So breaking, Secretary Scott Bessent just went off on Somali migrants.
A lot of money has been transferred from the individuals who committed this fraud, including those who donated to the governor, donated to Representative Omar, and donated to A.G. Ellison. But they've been transferred to something called MBSs. And those are...
Mortgage-backed security? What do you mean?
Sorry?
Transferred to what?
These are money the Bureau services, and they are wire transfer organizations that are outside the regulated banking system. And that money has gone overseas, and we are tracking that both to the Middle East and to Somalia to see what the uses of that have been.
Okay, but you have no evidence of that money being used to fuel terrorism at this point, which is what some conservative writers are alleging.
That's why it's an investigation. We started it last week. We'll see where it goes. But I can tell you that, it's terrible. Representative Omar tried to downplay it, said, it was very, it was very tough to know how this money should be used. Yeah. She was gaslighting the American people.
Well, we'll talk to her.
Yeah, but when you come to this country, you got to learn which side of the road to drive on. You got to learn to stop at stop signs, and you got to learn not to defraud the American people.
I'll tell you, boy, Margaret Brennan, boy, if y'all notice something, look at the difference when I showed y'all earlier. When she was talking to Ilhan Omar, you ain't see her interrupting Ilhan Omar at all. She just let her talk. When it comes to Scott Bessent, look what she do. She want to cut them off. She want to throw in, conservative, was pushing this, but y'all ain't got no evidence, right? He says it's an investigation. So this is what they do. This is just how biased they is when it come to Ilhan Omar and when it come to Scott. So, boy, I tell you the truth, they are something else, but they don't stop there, because even Tom Homan went off on CNN. So it said Tom Homan is demolishing CNN as they try to insinuate he's racist for arresting Somali migrants. And I told y'all, they run to this right here every time. They run to this racist thing to try to get out of the stuff that they done did. All the money that they done stole in Minnesota. Now President Trump talking about getting these illegal Somalis out of here. Now they want to say, oh, President Trump is doing it because he's racist. Tom Homan is doing this because he's racist. It just never stops.
Minneapolis, the city, a councilman there in particular, Jamal Osman, who was born in Somalia, told CNN that, quote, Somali citizens have been stopped on the street, asked to provide documentation, and that he never thought he'd have to tell people to carry their passports around because they look Somali. Are ICE agents stopping people because they look, quote unquote, Somali?
No, they're not. You know, the law requires agents are trained in Fourth Amendment training every 6 months. Border Patrol's trained in Fourth Amendment training. They stop. You can detain and question people for a short period of time based on reasonable suspicion. That's
and what is that suspicion?
Federal statute.
Is
that's
it based on how they look?
You gonna let them talk? Look what she said. What is suspicion? Is that how they look? I told you, I just don't get. I understand Tom Homan be going to say, but you can't get a word out. They be trying to get you to cross your words up. I'm telling you, they be trying to get them gotcha moments. That is what she be trying to do. She do this all the time over there.
No, their appearance alone can't raise reasonable suspicion. It's articulable facts, a lot of different facts taken into consideration. And the Supreme Court just backed the Trump administration up on this. I know a lot of the media says, oh, the Supreme Court just justified racial profiling. That's not what the Supreme Court said. Supreme Court said they agree with the way these operations are being conducted because the standard of reasonable suspicion is being used by both ICE and the Border Patrol in the interior operations.
There you go. But then, you know, Tom Homan pretty much right here. Tom Homan is now doubling down on surging ICE into arresting Somalis in Minnesota.
With the new ICE raids in Minnesota, they are sparking widespread fear and uncertainty among people in the Somali community in the Twin Cities. Now, that Somali community in Minnesota is about 80,000 people. The vast majority are U.S. citizens or legal residents. So what is the reason for sending ICE there?
Well, look, we also know there's a large illegal Somali community there. There's illegal alien community, large illegal alien community there. You know, if you're a U.S. citizen, you know, you have nothing to fear. We're looking for criminal aliens. And also, if you're a resident alien, you have like a felony conviction by statute, you could be set up for deportation. So we're looking for public safety threats, national security threats, and illegal aliens. Nothing's changed, Dana, from day one.
I've talked to several state and local officials who've said that the number of Somali immigrants who are living in the U.S. illegally there is very, very small, and that this is about scaring people more than it is about arresting criminals.
Oh, my God.
So what have you actually accomplished with this operation so far in Minnesota?
Well, we're just starting, and I disagree with the fact when people, even we don't know how many illegal Somalis there are because remember, in the last 4 years in Joe Biden, there's over 2 million gotaways, known gotaways, people caught on video, drone traffic, or sensor traffic that crossed the border illegally and weren't apprehended, weren't vetted. And so, what President Trump's doing is fixing the last 4 years of the open border where millions of people are released in this country, many we don't know who they are. So we're going to do the same thing in the Twin Cities we've done across the nation. We're going to focus on those illegal alien public safety threats in these cities. And if they weren't a sanctuary city, many of these people would be apprehended in the safety and security of the county jail. But because they're a sanctuary city, we got to send more resources there to flood the zone because it takes a whole team to find somebody in the community where it would take one agent to arrest one bad guy in a county jail. So this is exactly what President Trump promised American people were going to do, and that's what we're doing.
That's exactly right. So we get right here by Eric Daugherty. He said, laughing my butt off. So many people are driving by Tanwa's house and yelling retard that now his daughter is filming online. So I guess this is Tanwa's daughter, and she is pissed off that people is, coming across her dad's house calling him a retard.
No, I'm talking about this because while my family and I are always going to be the bigger people, the president calling my dad what he did has unleashed a storm regarding offensive language towards me and my family, and specifically my brother. You can call me whatever you want. You can call my dad, my mom. When it's Gus, to the no. To the no. He dealt with people calling him that last August, and now there's a resurgence. And no, how is it okay that the president of the United States can call somebody, anybody, doesn't matter who they are, that, and then all of his freaking cult members come and attack those people?
So what I would like to ask you is, have you heard what Tim Walz been calling President Trump? Have you heard what Tim Walz has been calling President Trump? You do know that President Trump, that Tim Walz called President Trump a Nazi. You do know that Tim Walz, your dad, called President Trump a fascist. You do know that, right? So did you tell Tim Walz to stop calling President Trump that? So President Trump just called him a retard. And y'all want to make it seem like those are threatening words when Tim Walz is on camera calling Donald Trump a fascist. Tim Walz is on camera the time that President Trump was gone their entire weekend, and they thought something happened to President Trump. A lot of Democrats said, oh, President Trump done died. He ain't been on social media in 3 days. And then you had Tim Walz making a video pretty much saying that he hoped that President Trump was gone on stage. He said, oh, I thought we was going to wake up and hit it and get the news, indicating that he hoped President Trump was gone. He was out of here.
Thank you for believing in these times, because look, I get it. You get up in the morning and you doom scroll through things, and although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime, just so you know, there will be news. But the biggest thing we can do is, and our kids demanded of it, let's stand up for the democracy. Let's stand up for we know what's right. Let's stand up for our neighbors. Let's stand up and don't let them take our kindness as weakness. We can be kind and still kick the living shit out of them. You can do both those things. So I'd encourage you.
So I just don't get this at all. I'm telling you, they are hypocrites. They just play one freaking side.
And that person's family. Say what you want about my dad. He's an elected official, right? Like, that's going to happen.
That's who he was talking about. He didn't say his family. He said Tim Walz is a retard. He didn't say anything about you. He didn't say anything about your mom. He didn't say anything about your brother, your cousin, your auntie, your sister, nobody. He said Tim Walz is a retard. So I don't get what the problem is. She just said that President Trump can say anything he wants about my dad. That's who he was talking about. He specifically said Tim Walz. He didn't say Tim Walz, you and your entire family is a... He didn't say that. He said Tim Walz is a retard. So I don't get what is she mad about?
Happen. I think it's utterly disgraceful that the president would do that. But then the attacks that I have seen, I have people DMing me saying absolutely horrendous things. When I was home last week, somebody drove by and screamed that we were R words. Just driving by in their car.
So you're talking about people driving by, calling you a retard in their car, but yet Tim Walz called President Trump a fascist and almost got his head blown off. So you're talking about people just coming by saying words when the words that have been coming out Tim Walz's mouth and the other Democrats almost caused President Trump to lose his life twice. Man, I ain't got time for this. Y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this, man. Thank y'all all for watching. It's like this victim stuff, it just has to stop. They just so one-sided. So she haven't made a video saying that, hey, my dad needs to stop calling President Trump a fascist. My dad needs to stop saying mean things about President Trump, but then as soon as President Trump say something back to Tim Walz, now you got people coming, people pretty much, riding by my house calling me this. But yeah, they call President Trump all these names of Nazis, Hitler, fascists, and all this, and he almost got his head blown off. So I just don't get this stuff, man. It is just so freaking one-sided. But like I said, thank you all for watching, especially the ones that made it to the end. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.